Welcome to Selections from the Sutra of Complete Enlightenment, Illusion and Desire, Part 1 of 2 on Words of Wisdom. Buddha or Gautama Buddha, also known as Shakyamuni Buddha, was a great extraordinary spiritual master from ancient India. Born as Prince Siddhartha Gautama in the 5th century BC, he would have naturally inherited the vast wealth of a kingdom. However, the prince left the palace life in search of spiritual knowledge. After years of contemplative seeking, the Buddha attained great enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. He then shared the merits of his practice by providing a method for other sentient beings to be freed from the cycle of death and rebirth. The rich treasury of Buddha's spiritual doctrine on universal truths is studied and revered to this day for its deep wisdom and compassion. The Sutra of Complete Enlightenment, or Yonjoi Ching, is a Buddhist scripture most likely composed in China during the start of the 8th century, with its origin deemed to be from the Chan and Huayan field of study and practice. It is a very popular and influential sutra within the meditation-oriented Buddhist schools of East Asia like Chinese Chan, Korean Seon, and Japanese Zen. A key factor for its popularity is its condensed format that focuses on the most important theoretical issues of the nature of enlightenment. There are 12 chapters and a short convocation in the Sutra of Complete Enlightenment. The convocation section sets out the scene of the sermon and the involvement of key participants. In a deep state of meditative concentration or samadhi, Buddha and 100,000 great bodhisattvas, with 12 eminent bodhisattvas acting as spokespersons, engage in dialogue with the Buddha on doctrine, practice, and enlightenment. Today, we would like to present Chapter 4 from the Sutra of Complete Enlightenment, where Lord Buddha advises Bodhisattva Vajragarva and the faithful on how to get out of this illusionary world. Chapter 4 Vajragarva Bodhisattva. Then in the multitude, Bodhisattva Vajragarva stood up from the seat, worshipped Buddha's feet with his head, went around Buddha clockwise 3 times, knelt down, put his palms together, and said to Buddha, "Merciful Buddha, you are good at preaching Bodhisattvas the pure great way of complete enlightenment that Buddhas practice before they become Buddhas, and preaching Bodhisattvas the gradual, orderly, and expedient way. You help beings to remove their ignorance. By Buddha's kind teaching, the illusory hazes of the ill eyes of the beings in this gathering become clear, and their eyes, which can see wisdom, become pure. Buddha, if all beings are Buddhas originally, then why is there ignorance? If all beings have ignorance originally, then by what cause and condition Buddha said that all beings are Buddhas originally? If the beings of 10 directions are Buddhas originally, and afterward the ignorance arises, then when will all Buddhas get enlightenment again? I wish Buddha to not give up the unlimited great kindness, show the hidden secret to bodhisattvas, and make the beings in the era that Buddhism is going to be extinguished hear the sutra which explain the ultimate doctrine and make them remove doubt and regret forever. After Bodhisattva Vajragarva said that he worshipped Buddha with his head and 4 extremities touching the ground, he requested 3 times repeatedly from the beginning to the end. At that time, Buddha said to Bodhisattva Vajragarva, very good, good man. For Bodhisattvas and the beings in the era that Buddhism is going to be extinguished, you asked Buddha the profound, secret, and ultimate expedient ways. These expedient ways are the highest teaching for Bodhisattvas, which fully explains the ultimate doctrine of large vehicle. They can make the Bodhisattvas in 10 directions and the beings in the era that Buddhism is going to be extinguished get the absolute confidence and remove doubt and regret forever. Listen carefully now. I will expound it for you. At that time, Bodhisattva Vajragarva happily accepted Buddha's preaching. The multitude also listened quietly. Good man, in our world, the thoughts of beginning and ending, appearing and extinguishing, earliness and lateness, existence and non-existence, gathering and scattering, start and stop, are continuous, go back and forth repeatedly, and be taken or be abandoned variously. They are all happening in the cycle of birth and death. If people have not gotten out of the cycle of birth and death and talk about the complete enlightenment, then the so-called complete enlightenment will be changeable like the cycle of birth and death. It is impossible to avoid birth and death by these thoughts. For example, when we look at the water by moving eyes, the calm water seems to be shaking. It is also like that when the unmoving eyes see a circular fire, when the fire goes around. It is the same as that when the clouds are moving. It seems like that the moon is also moving, and when the boat is moving, it seems like that the banks are also moving. Good man, if we do not stop this movement, then it is impossible to see unmoving things. Not to mention that we, by defiled mind which has not been purified in the cycle of birth and death, want to see Buddha's complete enlightenment and to see things unmoving. That is the reason why you generate the three confusing questions. Good man, for example, the illusory ill eyes wrongly see that there are flowers in the empty space. If the illusory ill is cured, we should not ask that, since the illusory ill is extinguished, when we will get the illusory ill again. Why? Because the ill and the flowers do not exist against emptiness. It is like that when these empty flowers are extinguished, we should not ask when will these empty flowers appear again after they have been extinguished in the empty space. Why? Because they are originally not real flowers in the empty space. Therefore, there is no appearing and extinguishing. Birth and death and nirvana are the same as the appearing and extinguishing. The wonderful enlightenment completely shines on everything and far away from the illusory flowers and ill eyes. Good man, you should know the emptiness does not temporarily exist and also does not temporarily non-exist. Not to mention that Buddha's complete enlightenment, which is in compliance with worldly thoughts, is the same as the equal nature of emptiness. Good man, it is like that when people refine gold minerals. The gold exists not according to refinement, and once the gold minerals have become gold, they will not return to be minerals. The nature of gold will not be ruined after immeasurable time has passed. You should not say that the gold in the minerals is not gold originally. So is Buddha's complete enlightenment. Good man, in all the Buddha's wonderful complete enlightened minds, there are originally no enlightenment and nirvana, and also no becoming Buddha or not becoming Buddha. Not to mention that being in the cycle of birth and death or not being in the cycle of birth and death. Good man, in the state that Shravakas attained, although the body, mind and speech are all extinguished, the Shravakas will not be able to reach the nirvana that they proved by themselves. Not to mention that people, by their mind, which is with false thoughts, calculate and guess Buddha's complete enlightenment. It is like someone who wants to burn down the Sumeru mountain by the fire of a firefly's light, and he will finally fail to set the fire. If there is someone who gives rise to the view of the cycle of birth and death by the mind of the cycle of birth and death and wants to enter Buddha's great sea of nirvana, he finally will fail. Therefore, I said that all bodhisattvas and the beings in the era that Buddhism is going to be extinguished should firstly cut off the source of the cycle of birth and death, which is there from long, long ago to now.
People were caught by surprise when you started to make war. But why are they surprised? What else can you do? The type of man that you are, low life, low intelligence, zero morals, and zero noble goals in life.
Considerate viewers, thank you for your company today for Words of Wisdom.